Grabbing the boards like, I'ma go coast to coast. I'm on beats like Dosey Do. They don't wanna go toe to toe. Step into my court, you get put in the poster. Ain't talk to nobody if you ain't with the smoke. Run up on me, watch your ankles get broke.
Yo, what up, it's your boy JDMC and we back with another video. Today I'm going to do something slightly different but still similar. I'm just going to go through the winners and losers in my opinion of free agency so far. I'll also do another free agency update video probably in the next day or two, just because things have slowed down and all the sort of main ones that we wanted to cover have gone. But there's still been a few ones that I've seen popping up on Twitter, so I'll definitely in the next day or two expect another free agency update. But yeah, let's get straight into it. What I'm going to do is I've just made a little list of the people who I think are the winners, and then I've also made a little list of people who I think are the losers, and I'll explain why, and comment down below if you agree or disagree with any of my takes. So we'll start off with the winners. I think the first winner is the Lakers securing Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, which is a surprise. We got Wesley Matthews and we also got KCP back. Also just got the news about Marc Gasol, and but we'll talk about that in the next free agency update video. But I definitely think the Lakers have taken a huge dub this offseason. They're the champions, and I think they're the team that's probably improved the most as well, so that's really scary. Another winner is the Suns, not only adding Chris Paul, which is the main reason that they're a winner, because they'll probably become a playoff team now. They also add a dog in Jay Crowder, who can be a 3-and-D player for them. They didn't pay him too much, and I think that's also a big dub for them because he fits into their system nice, and there's definitely a role for him there. The Milwaukee Bucks are also a winner by getting Drew Holiday. I've also got them in the losers section for a certain reason, but in terms of Drew Holiday and getting him pretty much for Bledsoe, that's definitely a big dub. The Trailblazers take a huge dub. Well, not a huge one. I think I'm slightly over-exaggerating this, but I'm not even a Blazers fan, so I'm not being biased or anything. But getting Covington for pretty much Ariza, adding Derek Jones Jr., bringing back Hood, who's not in this photo, and then also Melo. Those are all really great because I've got guards. They're pretty solid with their bigs now, so to fill out that wing spot, the Blazers are a really well constructed team. Philly's a winner on the fact that they got rid of Horford in his contract. They've added some shooters with Danny Green, Curry, so Philly's definitely a dub. They've really created a team and a system around Ben and Joel that I reckon will help them thrive, and I think with a new coach and stuff with Doc Rivers, I think that Philly should definitely have a better season than they did last year. Jordan Clarkson, that's another dub. This is just sort of a minor dub, like it's sort of expected, the money he got and I guess returning, but I do think this is a dub. He's still got a couple of his best years in front of him. You're not overpaying him. He's going to give you 15 points off the bench, and he fits in the timeline of like Donovan and all that, so that's a dub in my opinion for the Jazz. Getting Steven Adams for the Pelicans is also a dub for the Pelicans. They pretty much just got him for picks. He's a solid, after they lost Favors, he's a solid center. He's from my home country, New Zealand, so shout out to him. It's going to be cool watching him with the young core there because I really like that. So that's a dub for the Pelicans, is getting Adams. Also a dub for the Celtics is getting Tristan Thompson and Jeff Teague. It adds that backup point guard who can give them maybe 10 points a night, and then Tristan Thompson fills in the gaps that they were missing. He will offensively rebound, defensively rebound, run the floor, set screens. He's high energy. He's a champion and pretty much a veteran now. So that's definitely good pickups for the Celtics to add those sort of veteran presence in their young core. Clippers getting Serge is another huge dub. I was really hoping he'd come to the Lakers, but I'm not complaining now with Montrez. But this was a huge dub for the Clippers on the fact that they needed to make a move. They got Morris back. I still think they need that backup point guard to help facilitate, but getting Serge is a dub. That's a dub for the Clippers. And OKC, of course, gets the dub by taking the L. They take the L in terms of they're probably not going to do anything for the next few years, but look at all those picks. I think it's like 17 or 18 first-round picks I've got in the next 6 years. So that's a dub for OKC and their rebuild. Now moving on to the losers. Some of you guys might not agree with some of these. These are all my opinion and my takes. So definitely leave below if you disagree or if you agree, and we can have a discussion in the comments. So an L for the Bucks is a situation that happened with Bogdan. I think that that was the piece they needed in terms of a well-constructed team that could compete for a championship. I think once that fell through and he didn't end up signing and trading there, they sort of had to scramble and bring back Covington and stuff. I think they've still improved because they got Drew Holiday, but I think they've lost a lot of depth with their bench, so I do think that the Bucks have taken a slight L with that one. Gallinari, so you guys might not agree with this. I think this is an L, man. Like, I sort of mentioned it in the last video. That's a lot of money. I'm not saying he's not fully worthy of that money, but there's John Collins in the Hawks, and he's not really versatile. He can, Gallinari can only sort of play 4. You don't want him playing center. He's too slow and not lateral enough for small forward. So with John Collins, unless they can make those two work at 4 and 5, I do think this is a slight L just on the fact that they've spent a lot of money, which they had to spare, but also that, yeah, I feel like they've put players in the position of where they need their young core to thrive. So I don't know how I feel about that, but I guess we'll see what happens going into the future. I do think this is a slight L. Malik Beasley, just a slight L, just on the fact that you've given him a lot of money, and it's good that you've given him a lot of money and given him a lot of trust as a part of your core with D'Lo and Cat, but like, do you really want to dedicate that much salary to him? He did look good at the end of the year in the regular season, but like, can you promise that he's gonna live up to that? I think this is just sort of like a hopeful signing, but more power to him, but I just think it's a slight L. I also think, not for the Hawks' sake, but for Chris Dunn's sake, I think this is an L for him, because they've got Rondo, they've got Trae Young. Chris Dunn was the type of player that could sort of do with proving himself, you know, like put him into a team where he can prove himself. We know what he can do defensively, but prove himself as expanding his offensive game. But I just don't see him having the opportunity now with being behind Trae Young and Rondo. But again, we'll see what happens. But in a broad sense, I do think this is an L, not necessarily for the Hawks, but more for Chris Dunn's sake. And also probably the fattest L. I don't know if I'm being a hater. I like Gordon Hayward, so I don't think I'm being a hater. But still, like I said in the last video, $120 million for a 30-year-old. Like, he's solid, but do you really want to give 30 mil to someone who's going to get you 15 to 18 points? Like, I hope he proves me wrong and him and Melo are like the next dynamic duo, but I do think this is a massive L for the Hornets, just because, like, we love you, MJ, but like, you don't make the greatest decisions, and for me, this just has Chandler Parsons written all over it. No disrespect to Gordon Hayward by comparing him to Chandler Parsons, but this has Chandler Parsons written all over it for me. Okay, I don't think you guys are going to agree with this one, and that's fine. I'm not saying I'm right. This is just my opinion. I do think the Raptors have taken an L. Fred VanVleet somewhat deserves that money. It was a lot of money, but I think what they've done with these three on the screen, Lowry, Pascal, and Fred, they've put all their salary and all their, you know, eggs into this basket. Those two are good players, and they can show that they're like contenders or whatnot to a certain degree, but like, we know that Kawhi was the reason they won, and I just think that they've just got this core, and they've just dedicated themselves to these three. And Fred and Pascal are still young, but I don't know, can you guys really see the Raptors being a contender this year with this being their trio? Leave your thoughts in the comments below if you do think that the Raptors can cause some noise, but I just can't see it, and I just think they've put themselves in an awkward situation. Another L as well, this is the sort of like low-key L. I just think giving him 10 mil a year is fine. Like, he got 3 years, 30 mil. That's fine. That's not the L. But I think the L is his position. He's a center. This can only turn into maybe like a dub or not an L if Rudy Gobert leaves. But then I think that's an L if he leaves. I just can't see Derek Favors. I just don't see why paying him that much to be a backup center is makes sense. But I don't know. The Jazz obviously know what they're doing more than I know what they're doing. But I just think that this one's an L as well. The Rockets as well. This is a potential L because at this present moment, Harden and Westbrook are still there. And if Harden and Westbrook are still there, I still think they're a playoff team. They're still maybe a dark horse to contend. But the biggest L part about this, besides James Harden and Westbrook maybe leaving, because that's a huge L, but the L for me is Robert Covington. Like, they traded him for Ariza, and then they traded Ariza for picks. So they've pretty much just given away Covington. I know they need to try and bring some picks back because of what they gave for Westbrook, so it makes sense in that aspect, but I just think that, like, why'd you just give away Covington? Like, unless you have plans on like moving forward to a rebuild or something, I don't see why that makes sense. And again, like I said a couple of minutes ago about the Jazz, the Rockets obviously know what they're doing more than I know what they're doing, but I just think that this is an L for the Rockets. And I think the last L, this isn't an L in terms of like a bad move or whatever, obviously. I just think it's just sad that, I'm not going to call it an L, but it's just really sad that Klay Thompson is injured. I wouldn't call this an L in terms of like the reasonings, while I've called the previous one's L's, but I just think losing Klay Thompson, man, that just sucks. Like, that's just sad. Like, they really needed him to, like, maybe be a contender again, and I just think that this just really sets him back that little bit more. I really hope that Klay can recover, and I don't think we're going to see him this year, but I just really hope that we still get to see Klay Thompson and Curry together while Draymond's still got some life in him. And I mean, it could, being optimistic, the Warriors do have another year, you know, to develop Wiggins and Wiseman especially now, and then hopefully when you add Klay back in the mix, they can go for it. But I just think this is sad because we were all real hyped to see Curry and Klay come back, even if you're a fan of them or not. But yeah, that's that for the video. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment your thoughts down below. Again, thank you so much for all the love in the last videos. It's actually been crazy how much support I've been getting, and I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna slow down or anything. And also keep a lookout for a new free agency update video in the next day or two. I'll cover everything that's happened since my last one. But yeah, have a good day, guys. I'll catch you later. Peace.